Hi, I'm Shahar from the Copilot.cx Mavericks team, and I'm here today to talk a little bit about audiences. We have the audience system throughout the system. It enables you to answer questions, but also create campaigns, of course, right? A good question could be, how many of my new users use a certain feature? But the campaign would be target all the new users after like 2 weeks that haven't used the feature and send them a campaign, right? That's in essence what I want to do with audiences. But there's a question as to how to use that. So if I look at the audiences, basically we have an audiences, I'll start from the dashboard, that creates a natural language interface. In essence, you create sentences that answer a question. For instance, how many users are using iOS? So users that are mobile OS, iOS, and I'll call this iOS users. And I'll save this one. I can save it so I can have it stored inside here. I'll save and apply, and then reloads the whole dashboard. What do I mean by reloads the whole dashboard? All the information here, sales, customer experience, onboarding, and the new and active and all that kind of stuff is now targeting this audience. So you would expect to have like half iOS users, half Android. This should be cut in half, and it also gives you the general number here. Everything other than ratings. Ratings is actually public information, and that doesn't go according to the audience that you're selecting. But here I can answer questions as to how many people are using a certain device, how many people have a certain firmware on their device by selecting users that have devices that are, as an example. But let me give you a more direct example under the campaign side. So when I create an audience in campaign, first of all, I can also import, just to show you what I can do here. I can bring in whatever audience I want and start from that. But then I would want to look, for instance, for users that are old. So let's look at users that are first seen more than 100 days ago, for instance, and didn't trigger an event. Let's say they didn't connect the device. Tap connect device. It gives me automatically a time frame, but I don't need to take that time frame. And now I'm looking at a sentence that says users that were first seen more than 100 days ago and didn't trigger an event, tap connect device. So it gives me 81% of my users. Of course, this is not relevant information because this is all a demo. But in essence, I can get a feeling as to how the users are acting. How many people in the first month use a certain feature? How many users have devices that are of a certain model or trigger an event of a physical button being activated. And then I can understand if people are using features, doing that sort of thing. But what I can use it in an even stronger way is segmented NPS. Once I have this segment of users that are older users, so let's say users that are happy, users that use a lot, users that do whatever, I can go up here when I'm in campaigns and look at campaign relevant information. What I mean by that is that I can see not only emails and in-app and who is relevant for communication, but also the NPS score. With segmented NPS, I can understand if a certain segment of my users is relevant for, let's say, going to rate, for trying to get a friend to buy our product. This will give me an understanding of who's happier and who's less happy. I can even do this for iOS and Android, but this is the most relevant when I'm trying to do something like a ratings campaign. From here, you can explore and play around. There's basically information about the users and what they are or not. I'll show you that in a second. Users that are or not something, they did or didn't do a certain thing with numbers, in timelines, in specific dates, as well as have devices that are exactly what we talked about, that are of a certain model, that triggered a certain event like iDisconnect or things like that. And it gives me the users that have the devices that this happened to. Other than that, we also have a data team here, right? So if you have any questions or run into any problems, we have a specific data team that is able to give you information on what you need as a company, as well as helping you build audiences. Of course, it gets a little bit complicated, but it gets easier over time as you know how to ask these questions.